I think it's very much a mixed bag. I think it feels like two separate films fighting for control of the screen. On the one hand, there is from my point of view, really interesting, drama about these characters going back to the old battlefield. They are going there to search for the fallen comrade, but also there's the search for gold. And actually, I really like all that stuff. It starts, as is so often the case with Spike Lee stuff, with historical footage, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and it's got a really interesting discussion about that history that we see going right through when we hear the Hanoi Hannah radio broadcasts. It does all the stuff that you want Spike Lee to be doing. There is then a kind of a mutation in the film that it turns into a kind of Treasure of the Sierra Madre style, almost like an adventure, which I felt worked altogether less well. So for me, I thought there are great performances. I thought the ensemble cast are terrific. I thought there was really great use of music, not just the Marvin Gaye, which is very, very prominent, but also the Terence Blanchard score, which is great. I like the way in which the screen expanded and contracted to tell you which different environment, time period you're in. I thought it was quite bold to do the thing about the flashbacks without doing the de-aging. Obviously, as we heard from that interview, there's a monetary thing involved, but also it's kind of, Spike Lee is not afraid of alienating devices, just saying, look, this is a dramatic conceit. It's a dramatic conceit, just go with it. And I think, as with all Spike Lee films, particularly at the moment with everything that's going on in the world, it feels timely and relevant. I suppose I didn't feel that element completely sat at ease with the more action adventure element of the modern day stuff in the jungle. I think you feel that it fits better than I do.
Well, I see the point. I see the point that you're making, and it isn't Black Klansman, obviously,
Yeah.
but
But what is?
yes, yes, that's true. And obviously, Black Klansman is very, very funny, apart from anything else.
Yes.
I thought if it works, if people think it works, that there is a madness that is induced by gold, which we've seen represented in many, many movies, and these friends, these comrades. I mean, they've got a lot of stuff going on, and they had a lot of things to combat once they get to Vietnam. But as soon as they get the gold, they start to go crazy and they start to get greedy, and that maybe that was the kind of the grit which makes them fall apart. Maybe that wouldn't have been there if they were just looking for Chadwick Boseman.
No, sure. I mean, that I understand. I mean, it just felt to me like one of the things that Spike Lee does brilliantly is he changes registers. He shifts almost kind of mid-sentence sometimes, and sometimes that feels completely organic. Here it felt much more mechanical. It felt much more like there was one film that was turned into a different kind of film. But, I can't remember the last time I didn't think, this is available on Netflix. It's not hard to watch. And, I think Spike Lee is always worth watching. I just think Black Klansman is a really hard act to follow, because that was for me such a brilliant, that was like, okay, that's it. That's Spike Lee at the absolute height of his powers, and good for him. This isn't for me a classic Spike Lee, although I've seen some other reviews which have completely raved about it.